Random Randy Savage here. And today we're going to talk about the 2013 movie Horns, starring Daniel Radcliffe and Juno Temple. This has to be one of the most earlier episodes of Cult 45. I think he was doing like things that come out of body parts things, because I know there was teeth, horns, and tusks, and I've seen tusks, or seen Tusk, Kevin Smith joint, but I haven't seen horns or teeth. It's on my list. So, but I did horns just now, so let's go ahead and get into this. I will switch over and we'll take a look at the trailer. There she is. Let's look at this trailer. I said 2013.
I'm gonna love you for the rest of my life.
Just love me for the rest of mine.
Like, the movie makes it seem more like a comedy until it's not. Oh, okay.
I believe you.
That makes more sense now. It definitely felt like a comic book, or it was written by a novel. Like it had something. Like,
Carol, look. Did you notice anything unusual?
In the notes?
What are they?
Okay.
You know how I think we should proceed? I should grind me up some OxyContin and have a little snort.
all right, let's see.
Everyone in this town is going crazy. It's because of me.
All right. I got a lot to say about this movie. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna switch back. And we're just gonna go ahead and get into the tallies, and then yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into the tallies. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our body count.
Yeah, that body count. That body count.
The body count, I counted 4. Is that? I think that's 4. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 4. Yeah, 4 dead. Yeah, just 4. It like there wasn't it wasn't like a slaughterhouse. It was just more like 4. All right, so let's go ahead and get into everyone's favorite subject, the nudity. Let's get skin deep.
It's about to get skin deep. I just wanna see a little feet. Just show me that booty. Just a little bit of titties. Right now, right now.
What, is it too loud, or is it just it's like blaring out your speakers? Just let me know. Because I'll work on it. They're at the levels of loudness. So I counted, let's see. I counted 2? Yeah. Maybe 2. For sure 1. For sure 1. You get to see Juno Temple's boobs. I mean, the fact that she kind of, yeah. Oh, now it's too low. Okay. How about this? Is this better? That good? We good? That's what it is, maybe. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Let's see. Talking levels are too low is what he says. Talking levels are too low, what he says. Talking levels are too low is what he says. Nope, still not working, huh? Anyway. Yeah, 1. Let's go ahead and let's get into everyone. Who was the coveted star? Who was the Joe Grizzly Award recipient?
Let me introduce myself. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
So, thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. So, let me switch over and I'll show you who I think deserves this award. It is... I was trying to remember who I thought, like, yeah, this guy was not the worst person. Because that's the thing about this movie. It's literally about the worst people. Like, everyone is sus. Everyone's the worst. Like, where is she? There she is. Nope, that's Juno. That's not her. Even the dead chick, not the greatest person. Just like, instead of just having a conversation, we're just gonna ruin someone else's life. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Hang on, I'm gonna find out who she is. Did I switch over? I feel like it's just me. Hang on. Yeah. Switching over. There's Horns. Okay. My money, it's this one. She was not the worst. Out of everyone else in this movie, she was the least worst. She was, she wasn't great. She was not the worst. That was her sin. Was like she was just in love with the wrong guy, and that love was unrequited, and she just could not let it go, and that was her sin. I was like, oh, well, that's not a bad sin. That's just something that you deal with. All right. But, and then, like, it gets to a certain point in the movie, we don't ever see her ever again. I was like, well, then she's the best, because as far as I know, all she did was eat a bunch of donuts, take some engorgio of Harry Potter's, Slytherin, and bounced. That was the end of that her story. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into our final verdict. Okay, so I saw this movie. Like, I saw this movie on a list or something, or just it's passed by. I've never wanted to actually watch this movie. I don't know why. My instincts was telling me that it was going to be garbage. But then I heard like there was a period of time after Harry Potter, after they had finished wrapping up all their stuff, right? There was a period of time where the guys from Harry Potter wanted to do other things. Like Emma Watson went off and did like humanitarian work and like working with like charities and stuff. Rupert, he went off and bought an ice cream truck, and he did a TV show version of Snatch. And Daniel Radcliffe like just did whatever he could to get the fuck stank of Harry Potter off of him. Like, he did a play where he was just buck ass naked and dong just hanging out, and like he did that play for 8 weeks. And this movie, and then Guns Akimbo, right? And that is kind of like a lot of people have that problem who will play iconic characters. Like Tom Welling had the same issue. After Smallville, he's only Clark Kent unless you put him in something else. Or he's only that guy from, like, did anyone ever even see Cheaper by the Dozen that he was in? No? Or like The Fog, he was in that. Nope, no one saw that either. And it's just like, he keeps picking movies. Like, you pick movies to try and like branch out. Like, what's her face from Seventh Heaven, who was in Saw 2, is like, you do things to try and leave that TV character or that great persona that you've lived your life as some behind, right? So Daniel Radcliffe has been trying to, like, for the longest, just to try not being Harry Potter. So in that case, just like the same way that, just the same way that Tom Welling did Lucifer, an entire season of Lucifer, it's his best work. Like, I've watched 8 seasons of Smallville. I didn't watch, I think there's 10. And I got, because after a period of time, it's no longer Smallville, it's Metropolis. It's all about Metropolis. But I just gave up on that. But in Lucifer, he's not the same guy. He's darker. He's meaner. He is a dick, which is cool. It's an outside character. It's not Clark Kent. And I don't see him in that light. He is he is Kane, if you haven't seen that season of Lucifer. But this movie with Daniel Radcliffe is like just a laundry list of things that you would never want to see Harry Potter do. And he's like, I'm doing all of them. All the list. I want to smoke. I'm going to do drugs. I'm going to fuck bitches in trees. I'm going to fuck bitches on the roof. I'm going to leave bitches. I'm going to take like psychedelics. I'm going to kill motherfuckers. And then I'm going to laugh when I do it because it's fun to me. Ha ha ha. This movie that I did not realize is a murder mystery. Now that I saw the trailer, I didn't see that trailer beforehand. Like I walked right into this movie, just walking with the movie's about Daniel Radcliffe having horns. Okay, that's it. That's all I knew about going into the movie. What I did not know about this movie is that the movie starts off with Daniel Radcliffe being accused of his girlfriend's murder. Okay. Then, after pissing on her grave, literally, and cursing God, he's just like, he goes on to, he wakes up the next morning, and he's got horns now. The fuck? And the horns are they're indestructible. The horns will never come off. But not only that, the horns give him some type of weird aura, powerness, right? Anyone who can see the horns, apparently, will confess their sins, everything they've done. And it's like they are compelled to confess, which is perfect for a murder mystery, right? If no one can lie to you, this will be awesome. This murder is going to be wrapped up in 2 shakes, right? No, because he's just fucking around the entire movie, just like, oh, I'm so pissed, and drinking and fucking and like, oh. Then like, he also, not only do they compel him to tell the truth, that compel people to tell the truth, the horns give him like this like awestruck ability to do whatever you want, to release your inner impulse. You will do what like. If you like, I'm going to keep going back to Lucifer because Netflix had the same idea. It's like, oh, you liked horns? Well, it's almost like Lucifer. In the same sense that in Lucifer, the TV show, he has his devil. He has his desire stare, and whenever he uses it, the people are compelled to tell the truth about what they desire. In horns, whenever he asks a question, the horns compel the people to tell the truth about whatever they want to do, if it's a sin. Sound good? Okay, cool. And I was like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. I know how this usually works out. But the problem is, in Lucifer, there's a Chloe to ask more questions to push the narrative along. So that way you can get out in 20 minutes instead of having a 2-hour movie about a murder that I was definitely sure we could wrap up in 20 minutes. Because it's a small ass town. There's not a lot of people. I already had a suspect list, but by the time minute 30 rolled around, I was like, okay. So something happened that ruined this awesome relationship that you guys had. I know that. I'm not even there yet, because in the beginning, we see this lovey-dovey, awesome sunlight, whatever picnic relationship thing happen. And then he's accused of her murder, which means that they found her body in some type of crime of passion type motive. Okay. That leaves us, and if we're following the train of logic, and if it's a crime of passion, that means we start from the body. So who's on the outside? It's the boyfriend and anyone she was involved with. Well, it's a small ass fucking town. Let's start asking about the group of dudes that have been orbiting her entire life, and let's see which one of them had the hots for her. Well, it's the boyfriend, his brother, the cop, and the lawyer. These 3 guys are really sus, especially now that the boyfriend has supernatural powers that let him find liars, right? Okay. And even in my notes, I'm writing down, I was like, this guy's super suspicious. I was like, don't worry, this will be great for our case now that they can't prove any evidence against you. Yeah, but there's no evidence to exonerate me either. Now that that piece of evidence is gone. Oh, that's a shame. What do you mean it's a shame? The fuck? You're the lawyer. You should know this is bad. Unless, of course, you want me to go to jail, right? And then they're like, no, because the horns don't work on him. He has no sin. Or he's lying because he's a lawyer. But it gets nuts. It gets insane. Fires, gunfire, craziness. Heather Graham is in this for 15 seconds for no other reason than to be hot and a bitch. Okay. James Remar is back. Our beloved Colt 45 character, James Remar, comes in, pulls a nice, good, small performance about being a terrible father. Yeah, his parents suck. Everyone in this town sucks. His parents don't believe that he didn't kill the girl that he fell in love with when he was 9, and now they're almost fucking 30, and of course they're like, no, that's obviously you killed her because you were so in love with her. That's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard. First of all, that's dumb. And of course it's two dumb hick, cops, so they're not asking for outside help. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure we could have wrapped this up in 20 minutes, guys. Anywho, if it seems like I'm going for a long time on this, it's because the movie went a long time on this. That's the only detriment to this movie, is that this mystery wraps up and there's still 30 minutes left on the clock. And I'm just like, the fuck are you doing? Wrap this shit up. We're done. We know who the killer is. It was the very suspicious lawyer. The end. Okay. I mean, I put it down. It's like, that's weird. That's weird that he doesn't know that. It's weird that he knows that. It's weird that we keep pointing back to him. It's weird that they looked at each other. It's weird that he knows things that he's not supposed to know. And of course, he finds out there's always a double layer to the powers, which pushes the narrative along. The Chloe part of his abilities is that when he touches someone, he can see their memories. And it's like he saw how she died, and he saw what happened. And then, we get to the end of the movie, and I don't like lawyers. Yeah, I don't like, I was like, who's the Joe Grizzly? Well, it ain't the cop who was gonna plant evidence. It ain't the lawyer who murdered people, and it ain't the drug dealing brother who left his brother's girlfriend for dead. So it ain't these three fucking knuckleheads. And Daniel Radcliffe's the main character, so the parents are garbage. But the hot bartender chick who's always been helpful, who her only sin was that she wanted donuts and to leave this fucking hick town. Joe Grizzly. Sorry, that's but yeah, it's the powers get wonky when you start adding in the cross. It's like the girl's cross apparently repels the powers, so that way the murderer had the cross on, and when he ripped it off him, he was compelled to tell the truth. And it's like, oh no, you confessed to me. It's like, what are you going to do with it now? You can't just run to the cops and say, I have magical devil horns that make people tell the truth. And I was like, no. Well, I had that problem. And then the fucking lawyer's like, well, I'm not going to jail. And he beats the shit out of, baby Lucifer here. And puts him in a car and sets the car on fire and does a whole fucking pain and gain shit. Only this guy drove him off a fucking pier, tried to make sure he was dead. But, supernatural devil powers. Fire can't kill the devil. So Daniel Radcliffe walks out of the fucking lake, burnt the fuck up, devil horns akimbo and shit. And the dad who totally suspicious of Daniel Radcliffe the entire time, but with no evidence to corroborate it. And they're like, nah. I left one more piece of clue that, I was going to say for myself. It's basically to tell you why she did all this bullshit. The reason why she banged the lawyer, even though she was madly in love with you, is because she was dying. What? Yeah, she was dying, and she knew she was going to die. And she didn't want to hurt you. So she didn't want to live with that, live like that, dying while watching you suffer, watching her suffer. So she figured she just fuck this lawyer and then just break it off and ruin your life a little bit. Just a little, not a lot. And then die quietly in the corner. That's a terrible plan. It's a terrible plan. It's a terrible plan that you use one of your orbiters to do this. It's also a terrible plan that you just talk to him like a normal fucking adult and be like, yeah, we got problems. I'm going to do this. But Deadpool did the same shit where he walked off because he knew he has cancer. But in this universe, she could have became Lady Deadpool, right? Whatever. It just, before that part happened, this movie was getting 2 knee pads because it was insane. It was crazy, and it was violent as shit, and it was hilarious to watch. And I got to that point where she's confessing she's gonna die, and I'm just like, the fuck am I still doing here then? The fuck is going on? So another drawback to the horn power is that after a day, they all forget what they had confessed. So the lawyer walks up to Daniel Radcliffe, who, using the necklace power of Jesus, reverts back to his normal, Harry Potter state. And they go back to the scene of the crime. And he's like, you're going to confess right now. And then he's like, no, I'm not. And then the cops show up. And then, like, the one cop shows up. And then the drug-addled brother who barely survived his overdose. And they're like, come on. We all heard you confess. It's like, fuck it. And then a gunfight breaks out. The cop is dead. The brother's shot in the leg. And he's about to blow the fuck out of Daniel Radcliffe right in his face. So, cross ex machina, he rips the cross off. And he reverts to full-on fucking Lucifer Morningstar with wings and fiery angels. And he takes 4 shotgun blasts to the chest and calls upon an army of snakes to reach into his guts and fuck him in the ass. That's pretty exactly how it ended. Yeah, I mean, one knee pad. That's where it ends. Just because it's not terrible. That's the other thing. It wasn't terrible. It's just too long. 2 hours. 2 hours to end like that. Where he's still, and then Daniel Radcliffe dies. But he ends up in heaven with his girlfriend. So it's like, so they both end up dead. And then the lawyer ends up dead. And his brother doesn't die, but bleeding out. Their friend, who was the cop, got shot in the face. He's dead. And I just like, all these deaths happen in like the last 4 minutes of the movie. And I just, why? Like, senseless. It's all like, it just seemed like senseless. And it's just like, it made no sense. Like, I was like, meh, I don't like that. I don't like that ending. I really don't. I liked everything up to it. And then the Lucifer Morningstar thing was like, oh, that's cool. But then after that, just like, meh, I don't like that ending. Just don't like it. I don't know how you went. Like, Joe Hill apparently inherited it from his father that he can't end a fucking book or a movie. Just like, the fuck? Oh, well. Who cares? But yeah, one knee pad. I don't know about that one. It's not bad. It ain't great. Like, it just, the ending just kind of, ugh. Watch Lucifer. Yeah. You can watch TV show Lucifer. Get the same tropes, same thing. Lucifer ends up with the girl at the end. Same way. I mean, he does, but then he goes back to hell season 4-ish. Season 4. And he comes back and he, like, Eve's hot. Fucking everyone's hot in that show. Like, Maze is hot. Chloe's hot. Eve's hot. What's her face? The lab tech is like super cute. Super cute. And when she's like dressed up, oh, she's hot. Yeah, go watch Lucifer. You can skip horns. It's fine. Just like, I don't know. I'm depressed by it now. I just like, man. They're in heaven together in love. Like, but the murderer, like, you killed the murderer, so everyone's gonna think you're the murderer still. Like, you didn't get justice. You just died. Whatever. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's been about almost a half an hour. Thank you guys so much for paying attention. I will work on those audio levels. Apparently, they are hot garbage. Apparently, sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Today we released our Thing episode. I'm going to start working on the next episode, so it should be fun. Also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/cult45, and check out our Spiral episode. Oh yeah, that was where the guy from Spiral is also in this movie too. And if you haven't seen Spiral, don't watch Horns. So, yeah, you don't have to watch this movie. Don't watch Horns. Go watch Spiral. He was much better in Spiral. He was definitely not so sus in Spiral. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. You have a good night.